Coming up on the HS Game Time Saturday Scouting Report, Great Oak with a great effort at Heritage, including a goal line stand at the end of the game. Vista Murrieta rolls past Redlands East Valley. Centennial captures a big win versus Alemany. Beaumont versus Banning is the wheel deal, plus action from Norco, Temecula Valley, Moreno Valley, and Notre Dame. This Scouting Report is brought to you by Hemmett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Check out their first-year anniversary sale. They're your hometown dealer. The Scouting Report starts now.
We're the King Water Girls and we watch HS Game Time.
Thank you, ladies, and welcome to the HS Game Time Scouting Report as we recap Week 3 of the high school football season and we look ahead to next Friday. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. We kick off the show with Great Oak on the road at Heritage and the Wolfpack standing tall in the final seconds to preserve the win. Time to roll out to Heritage. We start with the Wolfpack on the attack. First quarter, quarterback Carson Luna hooks up with Brandon Presley for the score. Thank you very much. 67 yards for the Presley score. Great Oak and Heritage would go back and forth, exchanging touchdowns. You won't find a tougher runner than Lima High Hefo. He's hard to bring down and end for the score. The Pack, they have a great running back as well. Jacob Certeza in for the score. The Pack finds the end zone. Great Oak leading 21-10. And then it's Heritage again. Jamal Morrow, ranked the #1 running back by HS Game Time, moves the chains with the run, bounces outside, and nearly finds the paint. That sets up Sione Taki on the touchdown. That's what I'm talking about. Taki. Patriots trailing 21-17. Great Oak extends its lead when Luna calls his own number right there. 28-17 Wolfpack. Heritage not going down without a fight. Morrow gets the call. #1 rated by the fans. Can you hear me now? Good. Morrow in for the score. That gives the Patriots the 31-28 lead. But in the fourth quarter, less than 3 minutes to play, Great Oak drives down the field and caps it off with a Luna score. Great Oak back on top, 35-32. Heritage would get the ball back, but facing 4th and goal, 4 seconds left. The Patriots are stuffed. Great Oak gets the stop and wins the game 35-32. Next up for Great Oak is a road game at Chino Hills, while Heritage will host Rialto in Week 4. Paloma Valley will head to Temecula Valley on Friday with an unblemished mark of 4-0. The Wildcats picked up a big win at Moreno Valley. The Vikings all fired up for this one. The highlights brought to you by Hemmett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Early on, the Wildcats moving the ball on offense. Quarterback Brent Boehm to Matt Orzek. The big gain there, but the Wildcats would come up empty on the drive. Later, Mo Val with the ball, but Ray Golden puts his helmet on the pigskin, pops it loose, forces the fumble, and Orzek recovers. Boehm to David Solis now from out of the backfield, and Paloma Valley moving the ball with some big plays like that. That sets up Go Diego Go! Diego Reuter, the field goal there. 3-zip Paloma Valley on the board first. Mo Val, though, they would answer. Dane Watkins, the quarterback, hooks up with Waki Suliafu. Suliafu coming right into your living room, and the camera always finds Waki. What up, Waki Suliafu? Now it's Paloma Valley back on offense, and they give the ball to one of the top running backs in the inland area, David Solis. Breaking off a big run here for the Wildcats. Nearly takes this one to the house. Later on that drive, Boehm drops back, nothing doing. So he calls his own number, squirts through traffic, in for the score, and they go up 10-3. Paloma Valley would tack on one more touchdown before halftime. They give the ball to Solis. Another big touchdown run by Solis. The Wildcats would even tack on a 2-point conversion on this one. They led 18-3 at halftime, and Paloma Valley goes on to the victory. 32-3, your final score.
The first quarter was going to be a very low scoring kind of thing, and then it's a matter of our tempo, hopefully catching them, suck and win and tiring them out a little bit, and that's when things start to roll. So that's pretty much how we are. We're not exceptionally big, we're not exceptionally fast, but our kids, they know the system.
Mm-hmm. The game was called with just under 6 minutes to play when Vikings running back Amos Murphy suffered an injury. Get better, Amos. Everyone here at HS Game Time is pulling for you. As we mentioned, Paloma Valley travels to Temecula Valley in Week 4. The Golden Bears hosted Elsinore on Friday. Elsinore's ground game proving hard to stop. They've got some good running backs with the Tigers. Temecula Valley's Ryan Smith picks up some serious yardage with that big carry. But Elsinore's defense coming up with a stop here on a Temecula Valley drive. The Tigers, they get the job done against Temecula Valley. The Tigers celebrating with the perpetual trophy as they win by a final score of 53-29. Elsinore gets Murrieta Valley in week 4, and that should be a great game. But first, the Nighthawks are playing in Juneau, Alaska on Saturday night. We're hoping to get video highlights of that game, and you'll find them in the Monday morning pep rally. Now to a rivalry game that dates back to the beginning of time, or at least the 1920s. More than 80 years later, Banning versus Beaumont still going strong. The war for the wheel. The Cougars strike first in this one. The quarterback Josh Martin hooks up with Sam Roberts, and he will do the rest. All the way into the end zone, and Beaumont goes up 7-zip. Then later, more from the Cougars defending their home field. Give the ball to Joe Jeffers, the touchdown run, 14-zip. Beaumont. And then Jeffers, how about another touchdown plunge? And Beaumont all over Banning early, 21-0. Hello there. Second quarter now. Banning's quarterback, Sty Hairston. This guy can run. Check him out, scrambling all over the place. Hairston eventually finds his way to the paint and gets Banning on the board, but they were trailing 21-7. Back comes Beaumont. Jeffers, a long run here, nearly finds the paint, and that would set up this. It's Martin on the QB keeper, 28-7, Beaumont on top. But you can never count out Banning in the war for the wheel game. Hairston breaks off a long run here down the far sideline. He finished with 326 yards on the ground. That would set up this. Darian McCall, the touchdown for Banning, as Banning battled in this one, but Beaumont too much in the rivalry game. Jeffers coming right into your living room on this carry. He went for 206 yards on the ground, and that would set up this. He did the work, time to get paid. Jeffers in for the score as Beaumont wins the war for the wheel 56-34. That brings us to the HS Game Time poll question this week. Which local game is the best rivalry? Of course, the war for the wheel is there, along with 7 others. It's an election year, so cast your vote here at HS Game Time up until Wednesday. We'll have the results during HS Game Time live on Friday. The big Vista Murrieta versus Redlands East Valley game was all Broncos. They showed some serious horsepower, posting 59 points on that Wildcats' stingy defense. Vista Murrieta head coach Coley Candell planning out his HS Game Time viewing schedule. Live show Friday, scouting report Saturday, and the Monday morning pep rally. Check. First score of the game, Nick Stevens going up top to Sua Craven, 7-zip Broncos. The Sua guy's pretty good. Rev back to punt, bad snap, and the Broncos, Phillip Jones Ward all over it, scoops up the rock for the score, 14-zip Vista Murrieta. The Wildcats were their own worst enemy, another bad snap, and Trayshawn Broughton is there to recover, and the Cats just couldn't catch a break. Still in the first, you won't find a better combo than Stevens to Cravens, unless you're talking about the Jumbaco. Jumbaco, 21-0 Broncos. Stevens spreading the wealth, this time hooking up with Broughton downfield, and then later on that drive, Stevens calls his own number from the doorstep. Knock, knock, I'm home. 28-zip Vista Murrieta. Everything going the Broncos' way. The great Aaron Ruth boots one from 34 yards. It's all good. 31-0 Broncos. Vista Murrieta not done yet. Stevens to Dominic Marmolejo for the score. The Broncos go on to win 59-14. Vista Murrieta will host Cathedral Catholic from the San Diego area on Friday. Rev will look to pick up the pieces at Dorsey, and I know they will. Centennial flexed its muscles against Alemany, who's ranked in the top 10 in the state. The Huskies are looking good. Really good heading into their game at Carson. You know, I picked Centennial to win this one, I'm just saying. But early on, though, it did not start well for Matt Logan's team. Off the punt, Alemany, Stephen Mitchell, untouched to the end zone, 7-zip Alemany just like that. Then later, Alemany's quarterback, Devon Dunn, he will not go down, keeps this play going, and he will find the end zone as Alemany builds a 14-zip lead on the Huskies. But Centennial would battle back. Trey Watson breaking off a touchdown run here. He went for 124 yards on just 12 carries in the game. And then how about some Centennial defense? Xavier Hughes, get in there. He's got the sack and a big play by the Huskies Department of Defense. Then later, it's Watson again from about 35 yards out. Another score ties the game at 14 apiece. And then there's that Dunn guy again from Alemany. Breaks out of the pile, bounces outside and in for the score as Alemany regains the lead 21-14. Back comes Centennial. Austin Rankin had a huge game on the ground. 227 yards on 33 carries. A big chunk right there by Rankin. He did the work. Let him get paid. Rankin into the end zone as Centennial goes on to edge Alemany. Final score of 36-32. Expect to see some movement in the HS Game Time Top 10. Rev and Heritage both coming off losses. Chaparral had the bye, but they get Tesoro in Week 4. That'll be a great game. The Norco offense is rolling with an average of more than 45 points in their first 3 games. The Cougars will try to put some points on the board against Serna on Friday. The Cougars at home for Los Osos on Friday. The Bears. Here we go early on. Connor Miller in at quarterback. He passes to Kyle Gonzalez for the Cougars touchdown. And then later, Colton Gerhardt back in at quarterback, and you know how he rolls.
Number 12, Gerhardt, keeping the ball.
In for the touchdown on the run. Gerhardt gets it done. Then later, Corey Young, he gets the call. He had a big game for Norco on the ground. Goes in for the touchdown. And before we wrap up the highlights, how about another Corey Young touchdown run? Norco wins a shootout with Los Osos 54-33. A new rivalry begins in Week 4 as King and Citrus Hill collide in what I'm calling the Wood Road Rumble. Just 2 miles separate the two schools. Both the Hawks and Wolves picked up wins on Thursday night in Week 3. Citrus Hill having no problem with North. Now to the highlights, and Citrus Hill would strike early and often. P.J. Walker goes in for the touchdown, and then later the Hawks back on offense. The quarterback, Trevor Hodge, moving the chains with the big run. The deuce is loose. But later, a fumble at the goal line there, and North. Then their defense coming up big to keep Citrus Hill out of the end zone. But that wouldn't last long because on the next Citrus Hill drive, Walker running all the way to the doorstep, but later on that drive, knock knock, I'm home. Walker goes in for the touchdown, and Citrus Hill goes up 14-0. The Huskies trying to get something going on offense. They give the ball to Denzel Foster. The nice run here, and North moving the chains, but they would come up empty on that drive. Back the other way, the Hawks on offense. Hodge, another long run by the quarterback. Citrus Hill marching down the field, and it ends with this. Walker, the touchdown plunge. That makes it 21-zip Citrus Hill. This time, the Hawks back in business on offense, and business is good when you go to the air. Hodge to K.J. Young, his favorite target for the first down. And then that would lead to this, another Walker touchdown. Citrus Hill led 28-zip at halftime, and they go on to beat North by a final score of 38-7. Next up for Citrus Hill, their neighbor just down the road, King. The Warriors would find themselves in an early hole against the visiting Wolves, picking up in the first quarter. First drive of the game for King, quarterback Brett Hollingsworth to Kendall Moore on the touchdown strike. And then later, I need more. Hollingsworth to Moore, down the sideline for a big gain as King moves down into the red zone. Hollingsworth to Moore, another touchdown connection here, and that makes it 14-zip, King on top. Moore had himself a huge game from offense to defense. He comes up with the interception here. He had a big return on this play, but it would come back because of a penalty. But no worries, the Wolves go on offense and they would punch it in. They give the ball to Dylan Halsey, and he squirts in for the touchdown, making it 21-zip. But you can never count out Patriot. Second quarter, their gritty, gutty quarterback, J.D. Hernandez, in on the keeper. That makes it 24-7. And then later, Hernandez, from 80 yards out, takes this one all the way to the house. Touchdown Warriors. That made it 24-14. King would not let Patriot back into this one. Moore, this time on the ground, runs in another touchdown as King goes on to the victory by a final score of 31-17. 21-22.
Our big theory in our program is win every play, and that's what we've got to find a way in next week's practice to get out there and play a very physical, talented group of kids from Citrus and just try to find a way to win every play. We're not going to be perfect, but if that's our attitude and our approach to it, we feel like we can have some success.
We need to have a good week of practice, take it very serious, watch our film, and when it comes Friday night, go out there and handle our business.
Check back on Monday morning for the pep rally as we talk more about the big Citrus Hill versus King matchup on Friday. Plus, the story of Patriot running back Marcus French, who beat cancer and returned to the Warriors football team. Another edition of the Holy War takes place in Week 4 as Notre Dame takes on Aquinas. The Titans offense has been rolling. They hosted Xavier Prep of Palm Desert at RCC on Friday. Early on, Chris Chesney going in on the touchdown run for the Titans. And they can also do it through the air. Quarterback Paul Bradvica to Jonathan Kemp. 8 is great. In for the touchdown there. But the big-time player doing big-time things is Zach Kelvington. Had the game of his life. Bradvica to Kelvington for the touchdown. And you know Kelvington is the complete player because he goes from offense to defense and he gets the job done big time. Wearing his big boy pants, Kelvington the interception and takes it back for the pick 6. Notre Dame all over Xavier Prep in this one. How about another Chesney touchdown run as Notre Dame hammers Xavier Prep by a final score of 49-8. Before we wrap up the show, time to pass out some awards.
Player of the Week.
Oh yeah, Player of the Week goes to Beaumont's Joe Jeffers, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns as the Cougars win the wheel. Banning quarterback Sty Harrison has to be an honorable mention with his big game, but Beaumont wins the rivalry game powered by Jeffers on the ground. It's Joe Jeffers, the HS Game Time Scouting Report Player of the Week.
Play of the Week.
The Play of the Week brought to you by the Great Oak defense, standing up Heritage on 4th and goal with 4 seconds left to give the Wolves the win. Great Oak coming up clutch to beat a very good Patriots team. It's the HS Game Time Scouting Report Play of the Week. That will do it for the Saturday Scouting Report, brought to you by Hemmett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, your hometown dealer. And check out their first anniversary sale. Be sure to subscribe to the HS Game Time YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the action this season. Plus, we're on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday.